Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to our lecturer, Surveyor Dr. Ahmad Faiz. Today in this video, our group would like to present our feasibility study report, which consists of our proposed project, the development process, the proposed project schedule of areas, and also our viability report. First of all, I would like to introduce our group members. First, my name is Ameerul AFIF, and starting from the left side is EVENELSON, ANTASYA ZAFIRA Nur ARINA, and lastly Muhammad Al-Amir RAFIQ.
I'm EVENELSON. For the introduction of this assignment, a feasibility study is considered of a stage in the pre-contract stage that require proper planning. To conduct a market and financial feasibility analysis for every growth, the clients or equity buyer will engage available. There is a critical requirement for a feasibility study so that the owner may determine whether the development has a potential return on investment and whether it is feasible to move forward with the intended project that has been proposed. For the background of the project, firstly, the proposed location. The site chosen for the case study is on medium-sized real estate developments which located at Jalan Desa Ilmu in Kota Samarahan, which it is a part of Majelis Pembenaran Kota Samarahan (BQS). And secondly, size of the proposed property development. The planned land is 3 acres, which equivalent to 12,140.6 meters square. A larger area is divided into smaller lots through the subdivision process so that each lot can be sold separately. And thirdly, the type of proposed property development. The plan that we propose is an apartment with no mixed property development. For the scope of report, as for this case study discussion, the Vista Apartment Jalan Demak, Laut Kuching, Sarawak is our reference for this project. So this is the parts of the feasibility study. Firstly is pre-development cost. Second is building cost. Third, summary of total anticipated gross development cost. And fourth, total estimated gross development values. And lastly is viability statement. For the basis of estimates, these are the elements that important to taking into consideration when doing the feasibility studies of a project. Firstly, preliminary works. Second is contingencies and design reserve. Thirdly is professional fees. Fourth is developers overloads and management costs. And lastly is sales, marketing and legal fees. Many costs that need to be considered, such as those that are needed included or excluded, as well as interest or financial costs. The cost that needed to be included is, for example, building costs, external works, and sales income. And needed to be excluded is land and its premium payment, and also effects of the inflation and tax. For interest or financial costs, there are two types, bridging finance and best lending rate. What is bridging finance? Bridging finance is a type of financing that allows organizations or individuals in the construction sector to complete their projects. It is a type of loan for property project that is still under construction. So what is best lending rate? Best lending rate is a minimum interest rate charged by all Malaysian banks set by the Bank Negara. It is commonly used by banks to determine loan interest rates. The rates fluctuate in response to the current scenario and the country's economic progress. So these are the examples of assumption to be made. For the capital contribution to local authority or agency. Firstly, the Jabatan Bekalan air luar bandar, Jebab, bagian Samarahan, is at 1.65% of total income. And secondly is CIDB Levi at 0.125% of construction costs. The third one is professional fees at 10% of construction costs plus 6% of service tax. And management cost is at 2.5% of construction costs. And the legal fee is 1.5% of selling price. And lastly, the advertisement at 1% of selling price.
My name is ZAFIRA. Next, we're going to talk about the development process, which is local authority involved in the proposed development project. A local authority is an organization that is formally in charge of all the amenities and services provided to the public in a specific location. However, for this specific project, Jabatan Bekalan Air Luar Bandar, Majlis Perbandaran Kota Semarahan, Jabatan Bomba dan Penyelamat, and Sarawak Energy Berhad are the 4 local authorities involved with fees of 1.65% of total income respectively. Jabatan Bekalan Air Luar Bandar Sarawak is responsible for ensuring the provision of potable and safe water supplies that satisfy all users' demands. Majlis Perbandaran Kota Semarahan is the local government in Malaysia state of Sarawak responsible for running Semarahan's part. They are in charge of the general upkeep of municipal infrastructure, waste management, and town planning, environmental protection, and building regulation. Next, the local authority involved is Sarawak Energy Berhad, a vertically integrated power utility and energy development firm with the mission of supplying the region with secure, renewable energy in order to promote sustainable growth and prosperity in Sarawak. Jabatan Bomba dan Penyelamat is the one to give certificate before proceeding further with the development or utilization of the structure. Moving on to the requirements and procedures of the proposed development project. In order to make sure the development project is successful, there are few requirements and procedures that need to be followed. The first phase, which is technical data collection, is to obtain information and direction on general data and technical requirements from each agency or technical department. The information and technical specifications must be compliant with the plan, design, and prepare paperwork in accordance with the document checklist. Second process is to take into account on all the development plans that have been received by the local authorities. A document that details the construction project is the building development plan. The design plan offers solutions to problems relating to the project's budget, scope, and timeline. The third process is notification of start of construction work. In addition to the various approvals that would be necessary before the start of construction, it can also be essential to publish notices of specific actions while work progresses. Next is construction site monitoring and notification interim examination is also part of the process of the development project. Regular inspection is essential to ensuring the work proceeds as intended, both in terms of quality and compliance. The fifth process is to get notification of final examination to allow agency or technical department paperwork and confirmation to be released in accordance with the specified job scope. Lastly, the certificate of completion and compliance is a crucial step in the real estate development process. It is to offer final approval for building construction.
Hi, my name is Muhammad RAFIQ, and in the next part of this slide presentation, I'm going to explain on the development process of a property. So, property development is a thrilling and oftentimes difficult endeavor that uses limited resources. It is becoming increasingly complex, and a very indivisible and expensive product is produced as a result of this high-risk activity, which frequently involves significant financial investments. So, pre-development, construction, and post-construction are the 3 primary stages that make up the project or property development process in Malaysia. So, the first stage in the development process of property is pre-development stage, which consists of 6 elements under the pre-development stage, which is the first one is the initiation. Normally, one of two occurrences initiates the start of the first stage of the property development process. It might start when a piece of land or a particular location is found and deemed appropriate for a different or more intensive usage than its present or previous use. And alternately, the second possible event is when there is a noticeable rise in the demand of a certain land use, such as increasing population growth, which may then lead to higher demand for housing. The second element under the pre-development stage is the appointment of developer. So once the property has been purchased and obtained, it is necessary to hire a developer and establish communication with the appropriate experts in order to carry out other pre-development procedures. So typically, a turnkey basis is utilized for residential development, like the one suggested in this case study, where the customer simply has to give the developer the necessary funding, and the developer will handle all the construction works themselves. So the next element under the pre-development stage is planning for permission. Even after a project has been approved, a property must have authority to begin planning for development. This is because the project will be used by the public, and the development's planning must adhere to the standards and permission of regional authorities. Therefore, according to our case study, Majlis Perbandaran Kota Semarang (MPKS) should create a development proposal plan, and the town planner from the design team is responsible for carrying out this portion of the approval, which must be provided alongside other comprehensive documentation. After requesting for the permission for the development, the planner, also known as the main submitting party (PSP), will be involved in the planning for approvals. Larger projects call for additional involvement, whereas smaller ones, which is the smaller projects, only need the architect as the major submitting party. The local planning authority must give the applicant written instructions to perform changes in accordance with the Housing Development Act on any information they may have omitted upon their first application for planning for the development of the planned project. The next element is the conversion of land, or as known as land subdivision. So the subdivision of land should be requested to separate the bulk land into individual land properties once the project has planned development permission. So this frequently occurs when a housing complex includes a lot of landed homes that will eventually belong to a number of different people. And the last element under the pre-development stage will be the application for advertisement. It is typical for property development for residential and commercial reasons to necessitate future selling operations. This is so that the future tenants will occupy the vacant hotel stores and also the residential buildings. Therefore, the members of the development firm should submit an application for future advertising. Additionally, a sale and purchase agreement (SPA) as given by the local authorities is quite necessary when acquiring real estate from a developer business. This contract serves to safeguard buyers from untrustworthy development companies.
Hello, my name is ARINA AZIZ, and I'll be presenting the pre-development and post-development stages. Firstly, the pre-development stage involves the construction process. The construction can begin after the approval of previous applications has been provided by the authorities. The first activity in the construction stage is site possession. The parties involved in the construction process include the developer, project manager, local authorities, and other relevant parties. Before all, the quantity surveyor provides cost analysis and produces contract and bidding papers for the client and the contractor. The contractor then carries out the construction works according to the conditions of the contract as soon as he has the site possession. Meanwhile, the developer monitors the whole project to make sure it stays within its initial budget while maximizing the benefits. Next is the post-development stage. After the certificate of practical completion is issued, the defect liability period begins. The DLP is usually within 12 months or as stated by the SO. After the contractor is done with correcting the defects, the certificate of making good defects will be issued. It is then followed by the issuance of the certificate of completion and compliance. This then indicates that the development project's construction is now complete. The strata title is generally known as the land lots with stratified properties. This means that the common areas are shared by the owners of the specific high-rise building, in this case, the apartment. The future tenants submit the application for the strata titles through the developer, and these applications will be overseen by qualified land surveyors. The developer can request the transfer of titles, lots, or units to the buyers in accordance with Form 14A of the National Land Code. This action can only be done after the issuance of the Certificate of Completion and Compliance. It is required for the buyers to sign a document which is called the Memorandum of Transfer, or the MOT, as proof of transfer of ownership from the seller to the buyer.
Next, I'm going to talk about schedule of areas. As you can see in the table, the Vista apartment is a 4-story building with 96 units of apartments. It only has one type of building which features a master bedroom, 2 other bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a living room, dining room, kitchen, and a yard. There are a total of 6 blocks with the same features. Each building has a total of 927 square feet and a total gross floor area of 89 meters square.
Moving on to the viability report. This is the assumption data we came out with to help with our calculation for the construction cost, pre-development costs, estimated income, and profit or return on investment. Here we have the building cost, which consists of 6 blocks of 4-story low-rise apartment buildings. 1 story consists of 4 units with a GFA of 86 meters square per unit. Also, there is a list of external works and their costs. There are preliminaries and contingencies and design reserve, which take up 5% each of the total construction costs, and also other development costs provided.
On this slide, I will be explaining our viability report of our proposed project. Viability report is a viability quantifies the probability of success for a certain activity or project or collection of activities. An assessment of economic feasibility is an evaluation of the potential economic cost of a project's execution. This evaluation will assist the decision maker in determining whether or not the project is viable. Next is our construction cost, which consists of building costs with a total of 14,860,800 ringgit. Second is infrastructure cost with a total of 811,500 ringgit. Next are preliminaries, which is 5% from building costs, and infrastructure cost with a total of 783,615 ringgit. Next on contingencies and design reserve with also a 5% from building costs, infrastructure costs, and preliminaries with a total of 822,795 ringgit and 75 cents. And the total of our construction cost is 7,278,710 ringgit and 75 cents. Next is our pre-development cost, which consists of soil investigation, plan and submission fees, capital contribution, survey fees, professional fees, developers overhead, and sales, marketing, and legal, which with a total of pre-development costs 3,511,209 and 99 cents. Lastly is on our estimated income and return of investment. The estimated income of our proposed project is 5,922,698 ringgit and 80 cents. And the ROI of our proposed project is 22% per year.